Hi, YouTubers. Thanks for stopping in or finding me. I appreciate it. I've got to take my wife to the doctor's here in a few minutes, so I'm not sure how long this is going to go. But I did want to talk about savings, how to save, some of the little tricks that I've learned. And maybe it will help somebody out there. But you really got to be serious with yourself, that you're really trying to put money away. As I've said before, savings is nothing but deferred spending. Sometimes if you think of it that way, it might make it where it's easier to put that money away. And savings also represents freedom to me. I've told that to my kids over and over and over. When you have money saved up, it does have a sense of freedom. So some of the savings that I wanted to talk about had to do with creating the habit of savings. A lot of times people think that they can save $300 a month, and then 2 months later they've got $600, and then 2 months, one day later they have zero. And so I think sometimes that's not genuine in terms of they had good intentions, but it's just hard for them to do that. So what I've always told people, or asked them, how much could you save? And usually they'll tell me some number. Let's just say, for instance, $100 a week. That's really good. That's $400. But how much have you saved up to this time? Oh, I haven't saved anything, but I do want to make a habit of savings. I want to, have a lot of money. I want to try to put money toward one thing or another. So usually what I'll tell them is, if you're saying $400 a month, I'll say, well, how about, let's say $50. That would be $12.50 a week. Oh my God, I could save a lot more than that. I could probably save $600 a month. I said, but if you could save $600, do you think you could save $50 a month? Oh my God, that would be so easy. But why can't I put more money in there? Because if you keep doing what you've done in the past and put money aside and you think that you're fine with it, and then you end up spending it all, you haven't saved anything. It's better to put the smaller amount in there that's almost insignificant, in terms of what your ability to save is. And by putting the smaller amount in there, you're creating the habit, because the habit of saving money is more important really than the amount that you're saving initially. Because once you can create the habit that this is what's going in there, I'm not touching that money is away from me, then it gives you a good sense of satisfaction that you were able to do that. Now, the second part of that is you need to put the money somewhere where you're not going to be able to get to it easily. So I'm not suggesting like a coffee can in your kitchen. That's not the way to do it. But sometimes you can get an account and or even a 401k, and you can put the money in there where it's not that easy, or at a bank that you don't typically go to, another bank, a bank that is harder for you to get to. The idea behind it is, as you're driving to this other bank to take all your money out to buy something that you feel that you need, you're going to have a few minutes to think about whether that's worth it or not, because you'll see the growth growing in there. I don't think it's even important at this point to worry about mutual funds, individual stocks, what am I investing in, because you're trying to create the habit of savings. Now, for some people that just say, I don't have any money, Dave, I just can barely make it from paycheck to paycheck, then another suggestion, and everything I'm telling you, I've done it myself. I've actually done all of these myself. But another way is just to simply write down your expenses in a logbook. Every time you go out, you bought a stick of gum. Let's just say that was $1.20, and then you bought a drink at the AM/PM, and then you had dinner that night, and that was $30, $40. You can save 10% of the money just by simply writing it down. If you write it down, it gives you a chance to look back and you can see, what you spent the money on. Because how many times have we spent money and we're having a good old time out there partying, especially if you're drinking, you don't even remember spending the money. And then later, you don't really have a sense of where did all that money go? I just got paid, and why do I not have any money? So by just writing it down, you're going to save at least 10%. The next thing that you want to do too is, I think this is kind of obvious, but you need to stop eating out all the time. Eating out is nice once a week, and it becomes very special when it's like once a week. You'll find that you can save quite a bit of money by preparing it at home. Now, I'm Japanese American, so one of our big things we like is ramen. And there are many, many times when I was younger that I just ate ramen. I ate a lot of ramen in my life. And mac and cheese, actually. Not the most healthiest food, but the reason I was eating it was trying to save money for a down payment for a house, or trying to save money for a down payment on a car, or just to save money in addition to what I was already saving. Another way you can do it is you go to your work and you take it out of pre-taxed money. So you had an IRA, say, and you were able to fund it through your job. And then you say, I'm going to put $50 in there. And sometimes they'll even match it. If they match it, you don't have any choice. You have to do that. But a lot of that money can go in there pre-tax, and it wasn't easy to get your hands on it. There's even penalties involved when you take it out. So it's the habit of creating a savings habit and then looking for areas that you could cut back in. And a lot of the times that we run into problems, it's because we have an impulsive need to want to buy a car. We feel like, well, the car won't start, and I need a new car. This car's just nickel and diming me. Well, if you buy a new car, you won't have to worry about nickels and dimes, because you'll be worrying about hundreds and maybe $200, $300, $400, because they'll still have problems too, and you're paying for that with after-tax money. So say a $500 payment, you might have to make $750 to net out $500. Then you got to pay insurance. The insurance is going to be expensive because it's a newer car. So you see where this all kind of combines itself. In economics, we've always kind of been taught in money management, the question always is, what would you do if you had no money? So say your car won't start, and it needs a battery, or you don't even know what it needs. You got to take it to a mechanic. So the question is, do you just have it towed to the car dealership and use it as a trade-in, or do you just say, what would I do if I had no money? Well, if you had no money, you have to fix it. You really don't have a choice. You have to fix it. So it's a good question to ask, especially if you're thinking about buying a big thing like say a new car, a new truck. And so these are depreciating assets, meaning that as soon as you take it off the lot, it goes down, in price. Obviously, if you're going to buy something, it'd be better to buy a used car than a new car, because you have a big drop in the value of it just by driving it off of the lot. So I wanted to just say a couple of those things, because I do have people asking me about, these economic questions, and we all are economists. We're all trying to maximize our money. So everybody is an economist. It's just that some people are trained at it, and I would like to say that I did have training. My degree was in economics. So sometimes you have to look at it from a more, what would a rational person do, in terms of trying to move forward, because sometimes just buying that, $85,000 motorhome can just sink your whole budget, and it could even dent your retirement potential, because it seemed good at the time, but then it sits, at a storage place, and it was fun to use it at first. It was brand new and everything it was a new event, but then you haven't been out in it in over a year. That's not good. You can't sell it because you owe more on it than what it's worth. These are the kind of scenarios that people run into all the time, and a lot of it has to do with just not thinking it out before you make the commitment on it. It's always better to think, well, what would I do if I had no money? If I had no money, I probably wouldn't buy that motor home. I didn't know it was going to cost $2,000 to fill the gas tanks up. And so I hear about it a lot with my friends, that have bought these expensive things. And Some of them are really stunned. In fact, I was just talking to a buddy of mine, and I noticed he didn't have his Corvette anymore, and it was a pretty nice Corvette. And he said, oh yeah, we ended up getting a Bronco. And I go, oh, those things are really cool. He goes, yeah, take the top off of it, drive around with no doors. It was really nice. It's one of these brand new Broncos. And I said, oh, I'd love to see a picture of that or see it when you have it around. Oh, no, actually, I don't have that anymore because it was a lemon. And so we ended up having to turn it back in, because of the lemon law. And so it's not always that if it's new that it's going to be better. It may not be any better. It may be more headaches. The headaches that he described with this brand new Bronco, how rough it rode, how many times it broke down, it had to be towed, dealing with the shop, dealing with the warranties and stuff. That takes a big chunk of your karma out, just having to deal with all those problems. So yeah, you might have a car, might break down every once in a while. When I hear people talking about tires and batteries, I mean, those are going to happen. Those are just going to have deferred maintenance. You have to do that. It's just a part of it. But you're talking about something that's, very small in comparison to getting a brand new car, thinking that it's going to be the best thing for you, but you end up spending more money dealing with the warranty issues. And sometimes these cars can be lemons. They're definitely more complex. Not everybody can work on them, so you have to be more careful with that. So I hope that helped you and your thoughts, on some of the financing things that I run into, and I hope maybe some of those ideas of how to look at things, especially savings, as deferred spending. It just means that you're holding off on your spending now. You may spend in the future, and to create the habit of saving. And also, look at your job. We talked a little bit about your income. And so I'll do more of these in the future if you like them. I know my first 10 videos are supposed to be terrible, so this is probably number 5. So please don't hit me with a bunch of negative things. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Maybe I'll answer them through a video. So I'm really glad we were able to find each other. I hope you will subscribe so that you can stay in contact with me. And I'll continue to try to make my videos better. So it is true what they say, I'm pretty good at talking to people. That's what I've been doing all my life. But as soon as you turn that camera on and you have to look in there, it does make it so that it's hard, it's not as easy as it looks. Some people that are really good at it makes it look good, and that's typically what happens. But I will try to get better. Thank you very much for visiting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you the next time.